An updated standard for wireless charging. That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from the Wireless Power Consortium is Executive Director Paul Struhsaker. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how you doing?
Great to see you. And the Wireless Power Consortium has big news this week. They've announced the certification process is nearly complete for the first devices that will use Qi, it's pronounced Qi 2.0. So give us the overview here of what's going on.
Well, Qi 2.0 is a unifying standard across all smartphones, including Apple's smartphones worldwide. In fact, Apple has already announced that the iPhone 15s will support Qi2, and they are part of this initial process that's going through. It's called a soft launch. But Qi2 has the technology of the previous Qi, along with the integration of and improvement of things that Apple had done outside of the standard. And that altogether, this allows us to address the entire worldwide cell phone market. And that's somewhat important as in the future here, European regulators, just like they did for the wired charging of cell phones, are going to pick a single unifying standard for wireless charging. And we, of course, expect that Qi2 will be that standard.
So the iPhone 15 series will be the first of the devices certified?
Correct, along with a number of charger platforms, 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s, so single chargers for the cell phone or ones that do watches and earplugs and the cell phone simultaneously. There are a number of devices that will be out and for sale during the holiday season.
So what does this mean for consumers other than tackling the confusion over Apple's MagSafe and the existing Qi?
I think it allows consumers to finally understand and finally be able to buy and understand products that allow them to do either, and they interoperate. At a basic level, they interoperate. And so no longer will there be issues of compatibility. There is more optimal charging between two sides of the standard. We have the MPP, magnetic power profile, which is what you're familiar with, has magnets and lines, is, reminiscent of MagSafe. And we also have EPP, or extended power profile, which is the original Qi work and includes a number of devices from our various companies in China, Google, for example, Samsung is another, who are all users of EPP.
Will it mean faster charging as well, wirelessly?
It will mean, in general, anything will charge faster than the older standard. There are some custom extensions, especially used in the China market by Huawei, Xiaomi, and others, that have a little bit higher charging levels. And the reason they do that, of course, is there's also issues with the efficiency of the cell phone chips that are used in some of those phones, as you're well aware, because of some blockades of technology. There are different power requirements between cell phones because not everybody is using some of the most advanced 5G chipsets.
What were some of the biggest challenges in coming up with this updated standard?
I think there were two that we really wanted to address. We wanted the standard to have testing that was at a higher level and guaranteed a higher level of quality of operation between all the cell phones and chargers that were out there. So we worked a great deal with our test tool vendors and really concentrated on expanding our testing and making sure that it was more thorough. But the second thing is, as part of it, is we've created a new set of certification portals and process in which we gather more information, because we need to protect our trademark. And there was a lot of counterfeiting of these devices out there. And these counterfeits in general have inferior performance. And so part of what we did along with this is authentication. And now consumers will know they've bought a poor product, that they bought a product that was a counterfeit. But beyond that, we go out and actually go after advertisements of non-certified products that claim that they're Qi, and we have their e-sales advertisements dropped. And we call that enforcement. So there's a trademark enforcement capability that we've geared up so that we're really trying to ensure that consumers, when they buy something marked with Qi or Qi2 now, they know it is a certified product and it's a guarantee of qualities, which I think is very important. All standards go through this phase. Wi-Fi did, Bluetooth did. There all comes a point when they have to really enforce their trademark, because once you get large enough, and 1 billion devices will be sold this year, once you get it to a certain size, counterfeiting is just a natural part of what goes on in the technology world. No different than the clothing world or other worlds where you see counterfeit products out there. The problem is the Amazons, the JD.coms, the others, they can't really do the enforcement. They need, the organizations behind them to really help them, and they are very cooperative. When we tell them something is a counterfeit, they pull the advertisement for it immediately. So that's another critical thing that the Wireless Power Consortium as a standard is doing to ensure greater consumer satisfaction, and of course, product safety.
Is there a new logo that differentiates Qi2 from, or Qi? Maybe we'll call it Cheeto.
Yeah, it's literally Qi with a 2 on it. It's our logo with a 2 attached to it. We kept it simple. Our logos will evolve because there's other standards that are following this, but it's a simple Qi2. And it guarantees, not only the quality of operation, but the type of operation that's out there.
Interesting. So for people who are hearing or watching this and they're wondering, oh no, does that mean my stuff is going to be out of date? It's not going to work with a new standard, et cetera.
Oh no, it's backwards compatible. It's backwards compatible. Your old Qi1 chargers will charge Qi2 devices. However, probably at a little bit lower power level than the full Qi2 standard. And it's not unsimilar. 30 years ago, 802.11b came out, and you can still use an old 30-year-old 802.11b with your brand new Wi-Fi 6 access point, right? All standards, and that's a job we have, all standards have to work at backwards compatibility, because making big breaks is a very bad thing for consumers. So yes, Qi1s will operate with Qi2s, and not quite as well, but it will be, it won't be it doesn't work at all and it doesn't do anything, which would be terrible. But of course, with every improvement, comes a little bit of change. You won't have all the benefits of Qi2 because they don't exist in Qi1. It's that simple.
And where did the Qi name come from?
Qi is the Chinese symbol for power. So it is
as just in Tai Chi.
Exactly. It is exactly what it is. So if you think about it, it was a great way of coining a term and a symbol that had meaning, and actually was very helpful, because the Chinese market is a very large market. I would say 1/3 of the market of what's out there that our producers, our members sell to. So it made a perfect sense to use it long ago. I mean, we're about to have our 15th year anniversary. So long ago, this symbol was chosen, and I think it's held up pretty well.
So in addition to what you're doing for phones and devices like that, you're working on something that's going to be helpful in the kitchen?
That's right. We have a new standard called Qi, K-I, for kitchen. And next year, its first release will go into production, much like the time frames that you see today for Qi2. And this is kind of a revolutionary. It allows you to power your appliances on top of your magnetic kitchen cooking surfaces, or through your countertops, as long as they're not metal. Power your appliances with no more cords. There's a number of large worldwide appliance vendors who are planning to do releases, and it boggles your mind to imagine that with small retrofit kits, transmitters under your countertops, you'll be able to have any of your islands just sit around, have cookers or hot plates or cold plates or anything you want in a party, and no one's going to pull a cord and dump those things, which happens so often. Or just the convenience of it in a small apartment. No cords laying around. You have a 4-burner stove, and all the burners can also then go, if it's a new power countertop magnetic stove, it will be able to power up your appliances. And so you can make multiple use of it. And just think of, many people have smaller efficiency apartments and everything else. just the savings and of the mess of it all would just be fantastic. And that's a big draw for the standard. So we're looking forward to it, and we're working feverishly to deliver Qi. So a lot of work by our members and a lot of work to prepare to get labs and test tools and everything to bring this out.
And you'll be able to mount this underneath the counters that you have now?
Correct. And about early 2026, you'll be able to buy kits and have them installed, or have a kitchen installer put them, and they'll work off your standard power that as long as you have a place to connect the electrical wiring, you'll be able to place it under the counter. It can go through about an inch and a half, inch and a quarter, actually an inch and a half of anything, wood, anything that isn't metal, of course, because it's magnetic. You can't, if you have stainless steel countertops, which not many people have, it won't work with those, but it'll work through Formica, wood, granite, marble, you name it.
Wow. And there'll be enough power to have several appliances working at once?
Just like you would on your island, and having several appliances working. We tap into the same power, and your circuits for your home are all set up for that. So in general, it will be a relatively easy thing to do. And of course, you know, all the legislation that's going around the world, in which in some states and in many countries, you're not allowed to have gas stoves anymore. And so there's a number of updates that people are doing. So this becomes a new technology update on top of that update in magnetic cooking.
Sounds exciting. And of course, it's got to be safe, even if you're spilling liquids or that the mixer is throwing stuff all over the place.
It's absolutely safe. One of the great things is the appliances don't have any batteries or anything in them. They're sealed, right? And the frequencies that are used to power don't do anything at all, right? They don't do anything to waters or spill or anything else. So it's some very unique capabilities where our communication circuit is used to harvest power and power up the appliance. So that's the other thing. There's no batteries to change, no other things like that. This is you totally power the appliance. And of course, there's a lot of foreign object detection and safety that's built into it. And of course, authentication. You know, only key devices will work with key transmitters. So safety is always number one. You're transferring power. When you transfer power, you have to be careful that you don't heat up foreign objects.
And when I put my phone down on the counter, is it going to charge that too, or is not?
No, it won't. Those two actually. I'll take that back. There is a company that's already displayed a dual mode spot that put your phone down or anything else. It checks the standard and uses the appropriate embedded hardware to do things. So that's kind of funny that you did mention it. There is a few vendors who are working out having that work, but in general, you can actually you're well aware that there's a lot of countertop Qi capabilities that people build embedded Qi, but generally most people aren't charging their phones where they cook their food, except on countertops. But on range tops, that probably won't happen.
Even things like toaster ovens, things that need to
toaster ovens. We have a great one that's an air fryer and also a deep fryer. We have demos of deep fryer. There are appliances being made for everything. It can transfer 90%, about 85% of the energy that's in your electrical line can be transferred. So if you're set up to run one of those appliances with the electrical output of your in the wiring in your house, then you can wire this up and have it do the same thing.
Exciting things ahead. Paul Struhsaker, thank you for spending time with us.
Oh, you're welcome. And I appreciate your time.